Today's opening tip, Kelly Oubre. I don't know why I said it that way. He received a technical foul after blowing a kiss at Montrezl Harrell. Now, Richard, he did this in Phoenix and didn't get text, but
well, nobody was watching when he did it in Phoenix. Nobody was watching when he did it.
Richard.
Am I lying?
You're from Arizona.
And I'm telling you that no one was watching. I talked to everybody from Arizona. That's why.
Not kind. Kelly Oubre.
Is that his name?
That is apparently his name.
Listen, man.
Welcome to the Jump.
You make your first 3 of the season, you can blow a kiss.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'm Rachel Nichols alongside 2 men with notable NBA jewelry. 2016 NBA champ Richard Jefferson. 2008 Finals MVP Paul Pierce. They don't give you an extra ring for that, Paul, but I feel they should.
You got a trophy, though. You got an extra trophy.
And you have like a little replica kind of thing, or they give you one and that's it, you get to keep it. Uh-oh.
No, just you got to buy the replica.
Oh, you got to buy it?
You got to buy the replica.
Things you didn't know about the NBA.
Okay.
Coming up, Kyrie Irving spoke to the media for the first time just a few hours ago. He talked about taking time off and his outlook going forward as he prepares to return to action on Wednesday. We'll get to that in a minute. First, though, we didn't know what it would feel like. NBA teams playing in the middle of a pandemic, in empty arenas, with fake crowd noise and rosters that on any day resemble a hunk of Swiss cheese. Would games even feel real? Or was this going to feel like watching a season's worth of pickup at LA Fitness? Well, guess what? They're real and they're spectacular, at least when the stars gather like they did yesterday.
I got that.
It turns out if you throw KD, James Harden, and Giannis on one court and LeBron, AD, Steph, and Draymond on another, some of the best basketball players in the world still play like it, even without teams being allowed to practice much these days. Exhibit A, Curry, finding the basket here. This was nice.
That wasn't a foul.
Finding Draymond on the pick and roll there.
That was a travel.
Like all times.
That was a foul. That was a travel.
And then finally hitting this banger
monstrous.
from 28 feet.
There's no hate here.
A minute on the clock.
That's absurd.
Right?
Over the defensive player of the year? Come on.
What year was
I don't know what's more impressive, that shot put the Warriors up by 5 after they've been down by 19 early in the game, or that the 6'3" Curry hit that over, as the guys here point out, the outstretched arms of Anthony Davis and his 7'6" wingspan. It was just vintage. Curry would finish with 26. Golden State as a whole appeared to be figuring something out about its rotations. A tweak in substitution patterns certainly seemed to help Kelly Oubre, for one. Still, the Lakers had the chance to win the game in the end. Instead, LeBron passes to Dennis Schroeder, who flings the ball in, I guess, the general direction of Alex Caruso.
What was going on?
A mess ensues. A timeout managed to reset things with 1.7 on the clock. All LeBron could do, launch this 3 that does not fall. All in all, it was not a flawless display of basketball. The Lakers in particular got sloppy. Neither LeBron nor AD ever really got going, and the officiating was a topic of conversation throughout.
Yeah.
But it sure was fun, as was the Nets-Bucks showdown earlier in the evening. If this in fact turns out to be the Eastern Conference Finals, you can sign me up for 7 games. This one had 20 lead changes, including 8 in the final 5 minutes alone. Giannis had a strong game overall, finishing with 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists, although the Nets took the book on defending him to an extreme. You know how most teams give Giannis space from deep? Well, Brooklyn gave him basically an entire county, averaging 15 feet of pad, the most any player has been afforded from 3 since Second Spectrum began tracking this stuff 8 seasons ago. Now, the Nets were much more physical with Giannis otherwise, though. Check the little shove there from
but
Durant.
he initiated that. He stepped in front of somebody. I'd be mad if I was KD, too.
Harden, meanwhile, finishing with 34, including hitting that little shot to put the Nets up 1. He also had that driving floater. Giannis would answer with a 2-handed putback, a little authority there. But it was Durant who would have the last word, draining the go-ahead 3 on a pass from Harden.
Look at that.
Afterward, both players discuss why they seem to be meshing together better now than even when they played together in OKC.
We were young in Oklahoma City. You know, we're grown men now. You know, we know what we want. We really know the game of basketball now. You know, we're not those young guys that just run around and want to just shoot and dunk all day.
We've been through a lot in this league, experienced a lot, and for us to bring it together now and combine what we've learned over this time and try to play great basketball, I think it was pretty seamless for us.
Yeah, it is nice when the NBA looks like the regular NBA, with fans screaming and arenas full of energy and players who can take the court each night without someone sticking a Q-tip up their nose 3 times a day. But as we saw yesterday, anyone who tells you what's going on this season isn't real basketball is missing just how much spectacular there still is to see. So we will get to Kyrie's sound in a moment, but from last night's Nets win, Paul, what was your biggest takeaway?
Man, this is scary. I'm not even – because, look, they're only 2 games in. They beat the top seed in the Eastern Conference, and they haven't even got their chemistry together yet. I mean, yeah, they're scoring points and getting assists. They're turning the ball over a lot. So you got to expect those to come down in the next few weeks as they get to know one another, as they implement Kyrie Irving. But, man, like I said earlier, it's like having Jordan and Jordan on the same squad. It's like, who's number 2?
No, I kid you not.
I mean, seriously.
With all due respect to the 2-time MVP, the 2 best players in the Eastern Conference are on the Nets, right? And it's James Harden and it's Kevin Durant. And mainly the reason why I say that is not because of Giannis' defense and all that. It's more because when it comes down to the last 30 seconds of a game and you're in the postseason or you're in a moment where you need it, they have the 2 best players in the conference when it comes to knocking that down. So the postseason is going to be...
Could be 3 with Kyrie.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, obviously, when you talk about the last 30 seconds, Kyrie talking about, I finally have somebody that can knock down that shot. Well, congratulations. Now you got 2 of them.
Now you got 2.
Now you got 2 of them.
And look, this is the problem, too. You talk about the end of a playoff game. I mean, we're skipping some steps here, obviously, but you talk about the end of the playoff game with Giannis. I mean, you guys always tell me a big man, that's a tough position to put a big man in, to be depending on him finishing, especially if he's struggling at the free throw line. And we saw Giannis was better at the line last night. He had that game against the Mavericks the other night where I think he was 1 of 10 for the line. But his free throw shooting overall, guys, this season, he's at 59%. 4 years ago, he was at 77%, and it's just gone down every year since.
Well, pressure, like when people talk about pressure, a lot of times it rears its head in different places, right? Giannis now feels the pressure to win a championship. He feels the pressure to be MVP. And sometimes that pressure is not going to show up in your ability to dunk. It's going to show up in like the moments and in those little bitty things, whether it's your 3-point, whether it's your free throws, and you can see the decline. So I don't know, as the pressure has gone up and his free throw percentage has gone down, like physically he's still one of the most dominant guys we've ever seen, but like that pressure and the technique, that's where it's starting to show in his game.
He needs a closer, simple and plain. He needs a superstar closer like Shaq had Kobe and Wade. He needs that guy. I'm not sure Middleton could be that guy. He's a great piece and he's having a great year. He'll be an all-star. But we saw how they struggled down the stretch. And if Giannis can't make free throws or hit perimeter shots consistently down the stretch, then who's going to be that guy? And that's why I just don't have faith. Regardless of Milwaukee Bucks, they may finish first in the conference. I just don't have faith in them come playoff time because of that.
And look at that shot. Now, this is the thing. Milwaukee Bucks fans, we're not saying that your team isn't great. We're not saying that you can't get to the conference finals. We're not saying that you can't win a championship.
You guys are just talking about the most elite level. These guys are champions. They're talking about that nuance of the most elite.
That's what you need to win.
Let's just say the last 2 shots, right? The last 2 shots of that game were taken by Chris Middleton, who's a very, very good player and all-star. The last 2 shots for the Nets will be taken by James Harden, Kevin Durant, or possibly Kyrie Irving. Right. Let's just put that in perspective. 3 future Hall of Famers versus, all-stars, right? Versus an all-star, right? And I know we're jumping ahead when we talk about that, but you got 2 MVPs, leading scorers, all these different accolades versus Chris Middleton. And that's not a disrespect. That's just the reality.
No, it's just saying Chris Middleton's probably not one of the top 5 players in the NBA right now, which is an okay assessment.
It's okay assessment.
And I wouldn't say they struggled down the stretch. They were going, it was exciting. Lead for lead change, point for point, hit for hit. But yes, at the end, it was the Nets who came through, and they will be more powerful, more firepower with Kyrie Irving back. Probably not much longer for him to be out. He practiced for the first time with the team today, and Nets coach Steve Nash said it's great to have him back in the building. He expects Kyrie to play tomorrow against the Cavs. Kyrie missed the last 7 games due to personal reasons and COVID protocols. And here he was addressing the media for the first time. Take a listen.
I'm wondering if you were aware that you had violated